Good afternoon, good morning everybody. Shane McCusker here, Intelligence Software. Welcome to our webinar. Today we're going to talk about advanced sourcing tools and techniques for recruiters. Lots of interesting stuff to talk about, very important. First, a little bit about me, so you know who I am. My name is Shane McCusker. I run a company called Intelligence Software. I develop software for recruitment agencies, really to try and help them make more placements. We look for clever things you can do. It's about storing information, so we do CRM systems, applicant tracking systems, really anything to try and help recruiters make more money and make more placements and spot opportunities. So I get involved with, I'm interested in the sourcing stuff really to try and find better ways of recruiting that are more effective, that work better than simply advertising and hopefully the right person will come in. So that's part of what we do. I'm really interested in helping recruiters improve, so that's why we do the webinars. Some of the other stuff I'm involved in doing, fairly active in LinkedIn. I run a couple of groups in South Africa called the South African Recruiter Group, South African Jobs. I participate in other groups internationally, so you'll see me around. If you're not connected to me on LinkedIn, please do so. Always good to hear people. Drop a note saying you were listening to the webinars or the videos so that I know who you are. If you want to follow me on Twitter, my Twitter handle is oneintelligence, or intelligence spelled with a 1, which is a better way of saying it. And my company website is intel-sw.com, which is a good website to go and visit. You can buy our products there, which is always a good thing to do. And you may also want to have a look at my blog page, which is intel-sw.com/blog, and you'll get all this stuff up there. Okay, on to the main of the day. So let's think about sources of information. Now, one of the reasons I wanted to do this webinar is a lot of the webinars I've done in the past have focused in on a niche area, you know, using LinkedIn or aspect of it, or Google Plus or Twitter, or doing something clever with regards to recruitment. And what I wanted to do was try and do something that was a little bit bigger in its perspective, really to try and encourage you to realize just how much stuff there is out there and just what you can be doing, really to extend your imagination. And so if you start to think about all the different places that you can get information from, recruitment is an information business. Don't forget, you know, it's all about who you know and what you know. And as a recruitment agent, you sell information. You don't sell a physical resource. So where do you get your raw materials from? I've listed a whole pile of them here: own database, referrals, job boards. Let's go and have a look at these. Now, I've written your own database first of all, and the reason I've written that is because that is the most important information you have. It is what you've spent all the money on, all the time on building, and it is your most valuable asset. It still is your most valuable asset. Even if you say there's 160 million profiles on LinkedIn and you've only got 10,000 candidates in your database, those are your candidates. They're people that you know. It's easier to make contact with those people because you've got all their contact details and they've registered with you, so they're going to talk to you. The data has been verified and validated, so you've actually brought the people and interviewed them, you've asked them questions, they've signed a piece of paper confirming it. And one of the things that, you know, I mean, a lot of the time when we talk to recruiters, there's this demand for fresh meat, a constant desire to try and find new people. A lot of recruiters, their natural instinct is to go onto a job board or to go onto LinkedIn and try and find new people that they haven't spoken to before. This is not correct. It should be the people you have already dealt with in the past. Older data is more valuable because of the fact these will tend to be people that maybe were looking last year. They're not looking now. They're not on the job boards. Why do you think their LinkedIn profile is up to date? It probably isn't. Your information is probably more up to date than their LinkedIn profile. And so, you know, the older the data, the more difficult to get those people are, the more experience they have. Obviously, if you've been registered for a couple of years, think about it. And then the best thing about it is your own information should be the easiest to search. You need better search tools. I happen to sell those, so it's one of the things that are close to my own heart. The reason it's close to my own heart is because we designed them. And the key to your own information, you can do this with your own information, you cannot do it with external information, is you can classify it. You can create a structure to organize your information in a way that you can find stuff again. But better than that, you can organize it in a way to not find stuff you're not looking for. And this is actually the key to sourcing, and you'll see it today as we look at all these other structures. The difficulty of sourcing isn't about finding stuff. It's about not finding the stuff you don't want. and your own information can be categorized, classified in a way that you say, okay, I don't want to see people that live in an area I'm not interested in. I don't want to see people that just happen to have a keyword mentioned on their CV, but it was something they did when they were a student. I want somebody who's got 10 years experience in it. You want to create a classification structure that is simple. The simpler the better. And you want it to be a tree structure so you can dig, or you can go big. So you can say, okay, I want somebody who's based in this tight geographical area, and if you can't find them in that area, then you can expand it and go an extra 10-mile radius or whatever. You want a structure that works for you. And the reason is because you want to have really good search tools. Get your own information systems right, first of all. Don't come looking to do advanced sourcing techniques if you've got a pile of CVs in your desk that you can't find. You know, there's no point in saying, okay, I'm going to look at a million web pages if you can't get your own house in order. And what you want to do is have a mechanism whereby you can search it. I mentioned the phrase Boolean search. Boolean basically means using ands and ors and nots. It's the way databases are structured. And I used not to use the word because it sort of scared people. It made it sound techie. It's not. It's very, very simple. Boolean search, and it's what you use in Google, is all about finding information. You don't want to miss anything searching. Your own tools, you need to develop tools that allow you to do exclusion searching as well. In other words, being able to only look within a small pool of things. Boolean search isn't great for that. I'll show you some techniques now that are quite useful. You can also, if you develop your own tools and systems, or by intelligence, plug for my own system, you can develop all sorts of clever ways of using those tools that work really well for you. So it's not just about searching, it could be automating the searching so the information immediately pops up and presents itself to you. There's a lot you can do. So I'm really a big advocate for getting your own house in order and getting your own search tools right. The other thing I'm a big advocate of is referrals. It's still the #1 source for candidates you will place is that you ask somebody and they tell you. So whenever you're searching, don't search for the perfect candidate. Chances are you won't find them because if they're easy to find, nobody would be paying you money to find them. What you do find, on the other hand, is people that know the perfect person. So it's much better to search for a pool of people that are good referrers than it is to search for people that's what you're looking for. Because if you find 10 people that are within the industry that you're interested in, if you ask them to refer somebody to you, then effectively you've got 10 people that are working for you, hopefully for free. So referrals is a big thing I'm an advocate of. Social media. Social media is actually still below job boards in terms of where you're going to get people to find candidates from. So it seems to be a bit of a buzzword. But don't get overly excited about it. You know, it's just one string to your bow. Whenever social media, a lot of people talk about the big three and the big four. Google Plus is a newbie on the scene. LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, Google Plus. And out of those, chances are most recruiters tend to like LinkedIn because it looks like CVs. Most candidates, by the way, tend to like Twitter. Twitter is a much more obvious place for people to search for jobs on than LinkedIn. LinkedIn isn't a great place for job seekers to go looking for work. So there's a slight difference in outlook between where people look. But don't be fooled. This is just the tiniest tip of the iceberg. I did a little search, and I'll show you this. This is Wikipedia. Wikipedia is a great website. Mark it as a favorite and go looking for stuff because it's so good at getting you keywords and phrases and researching topics very, very quickly. But I did a quick search into a list of social networking sites. Look at my scroll bar to the right-hand side. Look how big this page is. Look at all the social websites in the world. There are hundreds. Looking at LinkedIn, it's only a tiny percentage of the world's population. How many people are in the world? LinkedIn only has a few 100 million profiles, 160 million profiles. It's only the tip of the iceberg. You've got to think wide. You've got to go looking for other places to find candidates. And where are the other places? Well, not just social websites. Think of all the other websites that you can go looking on. Personal pages, events pages, directories, clubs and societies pages. Those are just some of the areas you're going to be able to find people and get information that is valuable to make placement. Keep going. Professional bodies, forums, alumni groups. Prezi I've stuck in here at the end just to give you a madcap notion for sourcing. Prezi is this tool that I'm using to do these PowerPoint slides with, not PowerPoints, Prezi slides with. But all the slide decks that we do are publicly searchable. If you do a search for a slide deck on nuclear physics, chances are the person who wrote it is going to be contactable. They'll put their contact details on it, and chances are they're a nuclear physicist. So it's a really easy way to go and find people that are experts in particular areas to create this talent pool of people that you can network through. And there's millions of different types of places you can be looking on the internet that will give you sources of information that you can use. What else is there? The dark web. I love the phrase, the dark web. Sounds very Harry Potter-ish. The dark web is everywhere that search engines don't see on the internet. It's all the places that don't get indexed. And you might think to yourself, well, I don't have to bother about that. But it's something like 80% of the internet, maybe more, isn't indexed by search engines. Because it's all the places you can go on the internet that search engines can't find, you know, whether it be password protected. Job boards, for example, you need a password to access a job board database, but it's on the internet. There's all sorts of other places that you will find on the internet that aren't indexed by search engines, but are accessible through other means. Some are password protected, but some is simply a matter of joining. You know, Ning networks, massive communities on the internet. You just register for join the community. LinkedIn groups, semi-public, semi-not public, but you can access those things just by registering or going investigating. So the dark web, the non-indexed part of the web, is a massive resource. And then, of course, the other aspect of this, all the places you can look on that are not on the internet. My favorite one of these is Skype. Skype has got something like 500 million members. People talk about Facebook being the third largest country in the world by population. Well, Skype isn't that far behind it. That's also would be the third largest country by population. A massive resource, and you can search for people by name, by their Skype handle, which can relate to their discipline or industry. And it's an easy way to be able to contact and communicate with people. But there's so many other sources that aren't on the internet that are other tools and available to you. Okay, let's jump in and try and do some searching and see where we get to. So, the first search that I'm going to do some searches today. I'm sitting here in a very wet and cloudy Belfast, Northern Ireland. I'm not too sure where everywhere else is in the world. I think we've got quite an international audience. But I'm going to do some searching for accountants in Belfast. And I'm going to start off my search just by saying I'm looking for accountants in Belfast. I'm looking for CVs. And let's see what I get. Just run my search. Accountant, Belfast, CV. What comes up? Well, first of all, Google's telling me I've got 87 million results. It doesn't mean that. Google doesn't have a clue. It just means it's getting lots of results. The numbers that Google give are nonsense. Out of this, if I scroll down, most of the hits I'm getting seem to be job websites, Indeed, Simply Hired, other job boards. But I'm also getting CV Director, so I'm getting some results because they might be useful to me. Let's see if I can improve this. Just so you know, whenever you put in words into Google like this, accountant, Belfast, CV, from a Boolean point of view, it's really saying I'm looking for websites with the word accountant and the word Belfast and the word CV. But Google's a little bit fuzzy on that. You can, if you go look down the left-hand side, it says show more search tools. Scroll down here, look, I can for websites that are within the last period of time. I can look for websites which are sites with images, related searches, blah, 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 blah. The one that I'm going to click on here is just verbatim. What that means is verbatim stops Google being clever. Where Google tries to interpret what you want and suggest other things, when you click on verbatim, it's saying, no, this is what I want. I want accountant, and I want Belfast, and I want CV. And you'll see it says verbatim there. And it's just one of those things which tries to be a little bit more prescriptive about the way Google runs its search. And it's important that you understand how Google runs things so you get some sense of it. But anyway, let's go down this route and say, I want to try and get rid of what I said earlier was searching isn't the problem, it's getting rid of the stuff that we don't want to find is the issue. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to type in -job and -jobs and see what I get. When I do that, the minus sign tells Google that I'm looking for websites that don't have the word job on it and don't have the word jobs. So hopefully I'll get rid of some of the recruitment advertising. And in fact, I'll tell you what I'll also do. I'll also say minus recruitment to get rid of some recruitment agencies that are coming up. And lo and behold, it should improve my search result a little bit. What am I getting? Am I getting some CVs? So I'm getting more of these pages say CV on them. That's not bad at all. I'm still getting some search results. What else am I getting? Let's look over on the left-hand side of the Google result again. I really like doing this. If I'm looking for jobs or recruitment in Belfast, if I click on images, well, that's not going to help very much. But have a look at this. Okay, so we're getting some images. There's the former President of Ireland shaking hands with people, get some celebrity stuff. But if I scroll down, what am I going to get? I'm going to see images of people. And things like this. Well, that's a LinkedIn image, assistant accountant at, chances are in Belfast. If I keep on scrolling down, there's somebody who's won an award. Suddenly I'm getting stuff that looks as though it may be a bit more interesting to me. It may relate to people. And there's another potential. Who's this here? Another, okay, that's it. That's a university link. I just hold it over. I can see ac.uk. Let's see if I can improve this a little bit better. Again, down the left-hand side of the Images tab, we've got a type. It says face. Let's click on that, see what happens. If I click on that, Google gives me images that relate much more to faces. And given that I'm looking for accountant Belfast CV, what am I going to get? I'm going to get people that say accountancy. So I'm getting people that are going to be potentially related to my search. And I'm getting lots of them. What I may also get, although I take face off, is group photographs. So press releases or groups of accountants day outs. It'll give you the website, it'll give you names of people. And it's really useful information. And it's really simple to get hold of. So one simple search, look at images and see what you get to. Okay, what else have we got? Let's see if I can improve things a little bit. I'm just going to go back to the web here, open up my notes. Okay, so I'm using Notepad here just to show you some of these searches, really just to make the screen size a bit bigger so you can see what's going on. Let's think about this a bit better. Let's see how wide can we get this search to go. Whenever I said accountant, but on the web page, people use different things. They could say accountants, like the Institute of Accountants. I might say accountancy practice. Accountants have qualifications, CIMA qualification, ACCA qualification. And Google can operate this too. When I use the OR operator and put that into Google, it says I want accountant or accountants or accountancy or CIMA or ACCA. So it's expanding my search. I surround that in brackets and then I can do other things. So I might say Belfast, or I might say Northern Ireland. Northern Ireland appears within quotation marks because it's a phrase. I don't want to find the word Northern without Ireland. I don't want to find Ireland without Northern. Put it within quotation marks. I'm looking for the phrase Northern Ireland. I'm also looking for CVs, but CVs might be called resume. They might be called curriculum vitae. I've written vitae there because I figure vitae is going to appear without the word curriculum, and I want to try and keep this reasonably tight. And I've also misspelled vitae, one, because I always misspell vitae, and I figure that other people might misspell vitae as well. Let me take this whole section of text and just copy it into this bit over here. See, hold on a minute, let me just do that. You put a space in there. From that search, let's see if it improves results. Probably does. It widens the search, it gives me more results. If you think of your search process in these terms, think of all the possibilities. Go to Wikipedia accountant, get all the different phrases you want. Think of all the different ways you're going to find people. Put the OR terms within brackets and then AND them all together. So you want the discipline, the geographic location, look for CVs, resumes, whatever it is, and see what comes up. Whenever I do this, look how many resumes and things are getting. Okay, there's a CV. If I scroll down here again, see there's a CV. Whatever. Let's see if I can improve this again. Google has other operators that might be able to help me. There's a wonderful operator called in title, colon, all lowercase. If I in title, colon, CV. Let's see what happens. What happens is that I'm only going to get page results that have CV in the title of the page. Some help please. CV, CV, CV. Look at this. I can load CVs now. There's lots of interesting things that can come up. There's a whole lot of other operators you can use, but in title is a really, really useful one. Let's see if I can find a few more for you. Some of the other titles that I really like, you'll see this is also a massively powerful one. I'm just going to remove the CV curriculum vitae one because let's just look for people. If you want to do a search on a particular web page, you can do it this way. Say, for example, I wanted to search Google+. Rather than using in title, I use site, colon, and I go plus.com, plus.google.com. Whenever I do a site search, this is called an X-ray search. If you watch any of my other webinars, I talk about X-ray searches from time to time. It's basically asking Google to search a specific site. You can use it for LinkedIn, you can use it for Google, you can use it for Twitter, you can use it for your own website, you can use it for any website you like. It does a search for that. So here when I'm saying site plus.google.com, I'm getting Google Plus profiles of people. Here's Fintan O'Toole, who looks like accountants in Belfast, accountancy Belfast. He's probably an accountant. Martin Gilchrist. I know Martin Gilchrist. Martin Gilchrist is an accountant, and he's local people. So this is one way to get more information. You'll notice, however, on Google Plus that if I click on these Jim Andrews Google Plus, these are taking me to their mainstream. But some Google Plus pages have about in them, and whenever you look at about, it gives you their profiles to tell you their job type and whatever else. If I want to find only pages that have about in them, then I could use in title about. Run that search, and I'm only going to get Google Plus pages that are about pages. So again, I'm getting more quality, getting rid of more of the stuff that I don't want. Quite a useful thing to use. Okay, time's running against me here again as usual. I want to show you another one which I just find is to be so powerful. It's this operator called file type. Okay, I'm just going to go. I'm going to remove this stuff here, and I'm going to go file type XLS. What's an XLS file type? Hopefully you know. It's an Excel spreadsheet, because the web isn't full of just web pages. It's full of all sorts of other files and documents, and all sorts of other files and documents are searchable. So, what have we got here? Whenever I type in file type XLS, I have no idea what I'm going to get here, although it looks like I've done it before. It's going to download a database. Click on it to open it up. What have I got? Sorry, Excel's opening up here. I've got a big spreadsheet, and it's got people and charted. It's got contact details. Yesterday when I ran the search, I'll just show you the one that I found. This is what I found yesterday when I ran the search. I modified it a little bit. It's basically a spreadsheet of contact details for accountants in Belfast, and there's lots of them. And I've got the name of the company, the contact person, I've got in the Glenda's, I've got her email address, I've got the website for it. It's unbelievable what you can find. Do a file type XLS search. You can also do file types for PDFs, for any type of file that you want. I'll show you another. This really shocked me yesterday actually when I was doing some research for this. This is a search that I ran. It says file type XLS, and I thought to myself, well, let's try and find, people put spreadsheets together of like attendee lists or lists of names and addresses and stuff. So I thought, file type XLS, I'm looking for an email, I'm looking for a surname or a last name or a name, I'm looking for a job title position. And then I refined it a little bit and said, I want to find a South African, so I'm going to do a search for FNB, which is a South African bank.coza, because that'll appear in somebody's email address. Let me just show you what comes up here, because this is just amazing. Do that. I think I also ran it as verbatim search, so I'm just going to change that to verbatim, because I want to show you what comes up. The first one that comes up is this website, PSA Southern Africa. Click on that. I'm not going to download it because it's a big site and I've downloaded it before. This is what I got. This is somebody's contact database, and it's literally got, look at the number of pages, page after page after page of first name, surname, other initials, telephone number, fax number, cell number, email address, website, business name, nature of business. It is a massive database of businesses and contact people, and I'm going to find F&B email address. I'm going to find a whole lot of other email addresses here. This is just one Excel spreadsheet. Google is giving me, well, in this instance, 4 results. Modify it, and you will get, remove the F&B bit, and we'll get thousands of results. People putting Excel spreadsheets with names, email addresses, positions, and job titles. Just put in whatever you want. You'll get a massive array of information there. File type XLS is such a wonderful resource. Now, there's a whole lot more of these Google operators. If you want to find them out, just Google operators. You might come to this page, which is Google's own page, advanced operators for web searches. Have a look at them. Just flick through. The ones I've shown you in this one are my personal favorites, where you've got file type, you've got in URL, sorry, I've lost it now, in URL, site colon, really useful. You can use them positively or negatively, so you can put a minus sign in front of them if you want to exclude stuff, or you can just leave it as it is if you want to include things. In title is another one that's really, really useful. So you can see that I've put in my site colon Google search in there as well. Okay, what else have I got for you? Right, now, once you get a sense of the different searches that you can do, and there's lots of them, just play around with this and see what comes up. You might want to put the word attendee in there, which also gives you interesting things as well. You might want to say, okay, these are complicated. They're things that you want to write them once. You don't necessarily want to do them again. I advocate using a notepad or a text editor just to record them, and then you can use them again or see what you got. But you can also create a Google custom search. Check this out, google.com/CSE. It's a way to say, right, I'm going to program Google so it'll give me my own search engine that does specific things. And I'll show you how this works. I'm going to create a new search engine. This is free. You can pay a little bit of money to get rid of the advertising, but if you don't want to get rid of the advertising, it's free. Let's do that Google Plus search I did before. Right, so if you want to set this up to use and share it with your colleagues, put a description in, sites to search. I'm going to do plus.google.com. Okay, so what I'm doing is I'm saying creating a Google search that only searches Google Plus. I accept the terms and conditions. Next. It allows me to style it in different ways, so I can change my color theme or whatever else, but I'm going to just assume the basic one. And then what I'm going to do, I'm going to put in some refinements, and this is where Google custom searches sort of come into their own a little bit. I'm going to create a refinement, and I'm going to call it add refinement. I'm going to call it about, which is looking for about pages. And the refinement is in title colon about. Okay, save that. Go to Skype. I'm only doing a quick overview of what you can do with custom search, because there's all sorts of things you can do with custom search, but let's preview this and see what I get. Now, that 2 minutes to set this up. But what it does is gives me a Google custom search, a Google bar. So if I say account Belfast, what am I going to get? I'm going to get my result set, similar to my X-ray search that I did before, but it's all the Google profiles. See if there's Finn O'Toole again, and Andrew, and other people that came up before, but I don't have to worry about the site colons. I don't have to worry about all the different refinements that I put in. But I've also got a tab here that says About. Whenever I press that button, I'm only going to get these About pages that appear on people's profiles. Google Custom Searches is a wonderfully clever way of being able to create these searches, do complicated things, and then be able to store it and share it for future reference. I'll give you an example. This is one that I have on my web page. I'm just going to copy that over here just to make sure you can see what I'm talking about. Have a look at intel-sw.com/search. This is a Google custom search I created to search LinkedIn. Account in Belfast, do my search. What it'll give me LinkedIn profiles of accountants. Lots of them. Hundreds of them, 63,000. So it says don't believe that number. But what I've also got is I've got some refinements. So if I vacancy search, it's going to give me all the people that are accountants in Belfast who have just changed jobs. So this person has started a new job May 2012. This person May 2012. April 2012. So what these people have just changed job, and if you're looking for vacancies, just go back and have a look at the company they've just left. So, it's a wonderful way to either source candidates or source vacancies. All sorts of interesting things to do there. Right, I was going to go on and talk about Bing. Bing is another search engine like Google, but different in the sense that it gives you different results. Bing has its own set of operators. Where's my operator stream? Have a look at Bing's operators. They are different. They work in different ways. So you can search the internet in different ways using Bing and find different sites. Try and use both Bing and Google. All sorts of interesting things to be found there. This, I meant to start off advanced sourcing and try and give you some comprehension of the wide scope of things, but time is beating me again. Hopefully that has given you a taster for sourcing technique. I do webinars very regularly. Check out my blog page, intel-sw.com/blog. I'll have recordings of most of my webinars up there, or connect with me on LinkedIn and I can try and notify you of future webinars and future recordings. Hopefully you enjoyed this, and hopefully you'll my other content, share it with people. If you like it, tweet about it, recommend it, encourage other people to participate in it, and we'd be very grateful for your interest in it. Thank you very much for your time.